I'm Jesse Hurlbert,
I'm Charlie Herbert.
and welcome
To Arthropod
Adventures.
Adventures. This is season 2.
Episode 1, The Parasitic.
Arachnid.
Today's arthropod can be found outside in many of your favorite places. You will notice them in the tall grasses or maybe while walking your dog. And this isn't a hitchhiker you would want.
Can you guess what this is?
Today's episode brings us to the world of the black-legged tick. Can you say tick, Charlie?
Tick.
It's more commonly known as the deer tick to us here in the Northeast.
Do I say it northeast?
You could? Say it.
Northeast.
Northeast, good job. Interestingly enough, it was believed for a long time that the deer tick and the black-legged tick were two separate species. Since then, it was found out that they are one in the same.
This one.
You can repeat anything you want, Charlie. This is your podcast now, too. This is a special arthropod for our podcast, and a special podcast in general as my daughter, Charlie, joins the hosting. Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right. The scientific name for the deer tick is Ixodes scapularis. Can you say that, Charlie?
Ixodes scapularis.
Good. And its first name is of ancient Greek origin and means sticky or clammy. And ticks are really good at sticking on things, right, Char?
Yeah.
The second part of its name, its species, scapularis, is of Latin origin and means pertaining to or resembling the scapula, which you might know is a bone in your shoulder. And that name, bone in your shoulder. Go ahead.
Bone in your shoulder.
Yeah, and the tick kind of looks like the bone that's in your shoulder, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
All
There's
right.
only a bone in my shoulder.
There is a bone in your shoulder.
Why?
Because you have bones all over you, right?
I don't have bones in my hands.
You do have bones in your hands.
This little ones.
Yeah. All right. Can we get back to the tick?
Yeah.
All right. They're found all throughout the United States in high abundance, especially where you can find their main reproductive host, the white-tailed deer. So if you live in a spot that has a lot of white-tailed deer, Charlie,
Yeah.
you're probably going to have tons of deer ticks.
Can I say tick?
Yeah.
Tick.
Now, Charlie, where do we live? Do you know what state? Connecticut?
Connecticut.
Yeah. Here in Connecticut and Northeast, we have a lot of second-growth forest. I learned about second-growth forest from the University of Florida's featured creature article on the deer tick. A second-growth forest is what happens after the colonizers came down, cut down all the forest for farms, and then abandoned them. Eventually, trees grow back, and this creates an edge habitat where the forest meets all other kinds of places like fields, and this is an area that the white-tailed deer love, and therefore a place that the deer tick loves as well. It is not a terribly large creature, and depending on its life stage, you might not even notice that it's around or on you somewhere. Do you remember how big it is, Char? 3 millimeters.
3 milliliters.
Millimeters. Milliliters would be volume.
Volume.
And that's less than 1/8 of an inch for us here in the United States. And it's typically dark brown and black in color, unless it's a female, which can have an orangish shade to its body. Now, the deer tick is an animal that displays sexual dimorphism. Can you say that?
Diagnosis.
Sexual dimorphism. Say it.
What did you say?
Sexual dimorphism.
A sexual morris.
That was close. It just means that the girl tick is bigger than the boy tick.
No, what's the tick?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the deer tick.
What's
Now,
the deer tick?
tell them to check out my show notes.
Right now?
Yeah, tell them.
Check out the show
Show notes.
note.
Yeah, so the show notes are where we put pictures of all the cool things and all the research that we got. And especially check out the University of Rhode Island, because they have some incredible pictures of the size difference and the different sizes at each of its stage. Now, Charlie,
Yes.
the deer tick is kind of dangerous.
Why?
Because it does pose a threat to humans.
What?
Yeah,
What does it do?
it could bite you. And it's a parasite, which means it drinks your blood.
Why does it drink your blood?
Because it wants to grow and make babies. And it needs blood from different animals to make babies. So they start off as eggs, right?
Yeah.
And then when they hatch out of their eggs,
Yeah.
then they can kind of crawl really, really slowly. and it's in their larval stage. Can you say larval stage?
Larval stage.
Yeah. And it's here where they start to feed on animals, but not humans yet, probably more like mice, because they're small. And are mice big or small?
Small.
Yeah, mice are small. And so they suck the blood from the mice,
Yeah.
and when they're full, they got really big bellies.
Yeah.
There's some really good pictures in the show notes that people should check out, right?
Big belly.
Big bellies. So then they drop, and here, they are only known to transmit a single disease, hard tick relapsing fever.
Hard tick vaccine.
There you go. Now, Charlie, are you a doctor?
No.
I'm not a doctor either, so we're not going to go into any details about the diseases because, well, Charlie and I are not qualified to talk about them. But eventually, the tick will drop to the ground after it's super full, and it will wait till winter is over. Because, Charlie, if you remember, do arthropods like cold weather?
No.
No, not at all. But in the spring, they will molt and they will turn into nymphs. And it's here in the nymphs, Charlie, that they become a little dangerous. One, they start to feed on bigger things. Now, they don't jump, they can't crawl, and they can't fly or hop or anything. They just crawl really, really slow. And sometimes they crawl up on
Like
tops of...
sloths or slow?
I don't know if they're faster or slower than a sloth, but sloths are pretty slow. So then...
So like this slow?
Yeah, that's slow. And then they jump, or not jump, excuse me. They fall or
Excuse me.
go on to something that's walking by them, like a deer or a Charlie or a dog.
Not a Charlie?
Well, maybe. And here in the nymph stage is where they become a serious problem for humans, because it's now that they can cause Lyme disease. Can you say Lyme disease?
Lyme disease.
And that was found here in Connecticut first, in Lyme, Connecticut. That's why we call it Lyme disease. And on top of Lyme disease, they can also transmit human anaplasmosis, deer tick virus, hard tick relapsing fever, human babesiosis, and that's a hard one, and Powassan virus.
Parasitic virus.
And all of these can be transmitted once the tick reaches adulthood as well.
Adult hills.
Yes. And it's when they're adults that they like to munch on the white-tailed deer.
They munch on the white-tailed deer.
Yeah. Now, it's important to know, Charlie, that the boy ticks,
Yeah.
they don't really hurt people.
Why?
Because they're very little and they don't really ever bite or feed or drink blood. Their only job is to make babies with a girl tick.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the mating of the deer ticks is triggered by pheromones. Can you say pheromones?
Pheromones. Where do the babies come from?
The boy ticks makes babies with the mama tick because the mama tick puts out some pheromones.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And that's just like something that the tick can smell.
Yeah.
And then they get into a big group,
Yeah.
and one boy
Yeah.
can mate with lots of girls, but the girl will only mate with one boy. And now here we have direct copulation, which means... Well,
No babies.
no, it means that they're going to make babies by touching each other. And a lot of the other animals we talked about in last season...
Touching babies and make them... That's enough.
Well, it's for ticks, not for us. Now,
Oh.
from what I read on the University of Michigan's Museum of Zoology article, the male will hop on to the female, and he'll hang on until the female says it's okay to go. And then he will just give her the sperm and fall off.
What's fall off mean?
It means he'll just jump down onto the ground, and then he'll probably die.
Who will probably die?
The boy tick.
Why?
Because that's all he needs to do is just deliver his genetic material.
And give it to the girl
Yep.
and then dies?
Yeah. And then the girl tick will find somewhere safe to stay for the winter again, under a rock or some leaves or something, and in the spring, she'll lay 2,000 eggs.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of eggs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How much words there is?
Yeah, it's a lot of words on my script too, right? So, now, ticks, do they like cold, Charlie?
No.
So, should we worry about them in the winter? Yes, because sometimes in the winter, it still gets a little warm, right?
Yes.
And when it's just a little bit warm, the ticks can still creep out.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to end the episode by giving some tricks on how to stay safe from ticks.
Ticks.
All right.
Safe.
Now, first thing is first. If you wear...
Realist.
Yeah, first things first, I'm the realist. Now, if you wear light-colored clothes like white or tan and a tick crawls on you, you'll be able to see it, okay? And they also
So
sell...
I wear tan, they'll come near me?
No, they won't come near you, but if they do, we'll be able to see them when we take them off of you. But that's an important part of being outside in nature, right? Because you like to play outside.
Yes.
Is we always check you for ticks and make sure that there's no tick on your clothes, and especially in your stinky armpits
Yeah!
and all the little crevices that you have, and especially in your hair. But just because we want to keep ourselves safe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, people
Especially for raccoons.
Yeah. Now, people ask all the time, why are ticks important? Because they drink blood, but they are important, right?
That's gross.
It is gross because we don't drink blood, but ticks do. And ticks are important because they are food for lots of other animals like birds. And where did you see birds today?
At the grocery store.
You saw some outside the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Birds are everywhere. And birds love to eat ticks.
And they're also dinosaurs.
Birds are dinosaurs. Thank you for telling everybody that. All right. So, tell everybody the next time you're out for a hike,
Yeah.
tell them.
Yeah.
Say, remember that this arthropod, the tick, can be dangerous. Tell them.
The tick can be dangerous.
But it's still a valuable member of its ecosystem.
It's still valuable of its
Ecosystem.
ecosystem.
Say, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Did you hope that, Char?
Yeah.
And I know it's a little different with my new co-host, but how old are you?
4.
4 and a half.
4.5.
And you love arthropods?
Yes.
All right. So now, if you have an arthropod you would love to hear about,
Yes.
want to tell us what you think about the show, or if you like the new co-host,
Sure.
or if you found a mistake, and do you think we made mistakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Send us an email at arthropodadventurespodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Stay inquisitive and never stop learning. Can you say that?
Quizzes, never stop learning.
Now, at the end of the episode, Charlie, we're going to drop some other knowledge on them. But today, we're going to give a shameless plug for the book that Papa wrote last year. Remember the poetry book?
What poetry?
So people go buy Papa's poetry book.
One of those
Yeah,
books
tell
out there?
people, say go buy Papa's poetry book.
Go buy Papa's poetry book.
Say it's called Factually Haiku.
Factually haiku.
And it's all about space and animals, and it's all in haiku style. You can find it on Amazon. And that's the end of that. Say thanks.
Thanks.